Smoking gun evidence on the Biden crime family's corruption. Iran puts out fake news to hurt Trump, and the media falls for it. Plus, tonight's pivotal presidential debate. Let's get to it. Welcome to the Buck Sexton Show, my friends. My, oh my, what a day this already is, and it's just going because we got that debate tonight, and we have so much to talk about with regard to Hunter Biden, Joe Biden. Let's just start with this. We've now gone from the Hunter Biden story about corruption, about selling influence to his access to his father. We've gone from this is blocked on social media, ostensibly because it's a smear and it's not true, right? To, well, actually, it's Russian disinformation. To, okay, it's all true, but our editorial judgment is it's not really a story. In just a little over a week, they tried for maybe a day or two there. Oh, it's a non-story because Joe Biden's not tied to it. And I said, look, if Joe Biden has no hand in any of this, Hunter being a screw-up may not be enough. But this is quite a bit different. A lot of information coming out that is real, based on this laptop, based on the communications. This is smoking gun level stuff. In a normal criminal trial, let's say, if you had the defendant's emails saying the kind of stuff that Hunter Biden's saying about a corrupt influence scheme, they'd be taking a plea deal. It'd be all over. But now we know the FBI had the laptop for a year, didn't do anything. It may have been subpoenaed, though, as part of a money laundering probe. Gee, that information never got out. What a surprise that that wouldn't be leaked, something that would actually hurt a Democrat. And if you're wondering, Buck, hold on. Are they really saying that this is all not a story? That the emails coming out to suggest, to state that Joe Biden was getting a piece of this, that Hunter Biden was getting huge deals done with foreign adversary governments, okay, like China, that Hunter Biden was getting huge deals done, making enormous amounts of money, giving kickbacks to his dad, and that everybody knew what was going on here. His business partner has come forward to confirm all of this. The guy's a Navy veteran. He's just like, look, I've got to tell the truth on this one. And he's got receipts, as they say. He's got the documents. We're beyond now rumor, innuendo, speculation. We're talking cold, hard facts, my friends. That's where this Biden scandal currently is. And you have to laugh. NPR, their public editor, put this out earlier today. Why haven't you seen any stories from NPR about the New York Post's Hunter Biden story? The answer they give, this is their managing editor for news, quote, "We don't want to waste our time on stories that are not really stories, and we don't want to waste the listeners' and readers' time on stories that are just pure distractions." That's right, friends. Taxpayer funded in part, NPR is taking the position now, oh, sure, you can prove everything that the New York Post has been saying from the beginning, that conservatives, Republicans have been pointing out about the Bidens going on 2 years now. You can prove this, but it's not really a story. How is this not a story? That's absurd. I mean, that's so stupid and so dishonest that it's hard to even debate it because it feels like we must be talking about somebody who's not smart enough to even understand the issues at hand. I mean, the NPR people, do they not know anything about politics? They're the political editors that are making this statement. But what you see, my friends, right now is the mainstream media engaging in an institutional mass self-immolation to protect Biden. It's hard to fathom why they would ever do this until you recognize that they view a Trump victory as an existential threat to their professional and emotional well-being. And so this is going to get much uglier, my friends. Much uglier indeed. It's stunning. I mean, of the many accomplishments Donald Trump can point to in his first 4 years, exposing the liberal mainstream media beyond any doubt as the unrepentant and reckless frauds they are, will go down in history as among the most important and useful. Shared that one on Twitter earlier today. I think folks see exactly what I mean. There's no going back for the media now. There's no, they're never going to be able to make this argument. Oh, we're just journos. Oh, we're just being honest. We're just nonpartisan here. The China component of this is stunning. I mean, the Burisma and Ukraine stuff is bad enough, but now we find out that there's information about a Chinese government payoff to the Biden family. You mean our primary, really our only geopolitical rival, knew that by funneling some cash, nothing to them. I mean, the Chinese Communist Party, it's got $5-10 million bucks in the couch cushions and then some. And this is a joke to them, a pittance. They can help steer some aspect of U.S. foreign policy just by paying off the then vice president's son. The things that they've accused Trump and his family of doing, I mean, this is why the hypocrisy is so mind-blowing. What the Democrats have been accusing Trump and his family of doing for years, without evidence, unfairly maligning them, is what Joe Biden and his family, not just Hunter, also his brother, that's what they've been doing. They are accusing the other side of what they themselves are guilty of doing. China is getting away scot-free with stealing billions of dollars in intellectual property from U.S. companies and billions more with their predatory trade practices until Donald Trump steps up. But before that, they were getting away with it, and it makes so much more sense the moment you find out that the Bidens and others in our ruling class were getting beach houses, Benzes, and BMWs out of the deal. Oh, okay. Why push back on China when business is so good? Side business, that is. That's really what this is turning into. You realize that U.S. foreign policy was kind of a side hustle for the Bidens. The main event was getting cash, getting paid. It's amazing, friends. It's amazing. But this is what we're up against. This is what we're seeing. I mean, yesterday, the desperate media tried to suggest that a Rudy Giuliani hidden camera ambush for a Borat film was a big news story. But somehow Giuliani having ironclad proof that Hunter Biden was selling access to his vice president dad is a non-story, or it's Russian disinformation. This is all you have to know. The media can't go any lower. They have no integrity to protect. It's all over for them now in that regard. I mean, they can only fool those who wish to be fooled. They can only fool people who are either not honest enough or not smart enough for this to see the truth of what's really going on here. So many people doing excellent work on this one. Sean Davis over at the Federalist has been diving into these emails. This is from his Twitter. He writes, quote, an email to Hunter Biden's partner from a top Chinese official on July 26th, 2017 shows the Chinese energy company CEFC proposed a $5 million interest-free loan to the Biden family based on their trust on the Biden family. There's a quote that he pulls, should CEFC keep lending more to the family? Less than 2 weeks later, on August 8th, 2017, $5 million was wired from a CEFC-affiliated investment vehicle to a Delaware LLC, which spent the next year transferring nearly $4.8 million directly to Hunter Biden's firm, according to Senate investigators. Friends, this is exactly how you would engage in a access peddling, in a corrupt scheme where you are selling U.S. foreign policy for personal gain. This is exactly how you would do it. You have the negotiations. You fly to China on Air Force Two with Dad. You meet with a bunch of Chinese businessmen. Then you have them just give an interest-free loan, and they park it in a unnamed Delaware, an unknown Delaware LLC, and then that siphons off the money to your consulting firm, which you then get a piece of. I mean, it looks like money laundering to me, friends. I mean, we're going to have to look at what some of the legal experts find with these kinds of transactions, but it certainly stinks to high heaven. We know that much. These are not theories, my friends. This is all traceable, it is all provable, and it is all real. We have the evidence, and yet they're trying to pretend like this is somehow still nothing. Oh, no, we're way, way beyond that. But what I want you to be prepared for is that even though the media has been exposed as completely corrupt frauds, more so than anything else you can really think of, because this is all coming down at once right before the election, and they're doing everything they can. There's a pathetic panic that has overtaken the mainstream media. They're doing whatever they can to try to avoid talking about any of this. They're downplaying it. They're lying about it. It's only going to get worse. They've already made their choice. Their choice is Joe Biden. Really, their choice is anybody but Trump. And they will do anything in their power to make sure that happens. There is nothing that is too debased, nothing that is too fraudulent, too pathetic for the biggest news organizations, the biggest names in mainstream news, to carry the last buckets of water for Biden necessary in this election, where we know it's going to be very, very tight. We know it's going to be very close. So just be ready for this. Be ready for exactly what's going to happen here. Because, yes, the Joe and Hunter Biden corruption apparatus is even worse than I initially thought. Or at least there's much more proof of it. And the efforts to suppress it have proved that our media is depraved beyond salvation. But it's still going to be a very close election. And the libs do not care about the truth. They do not care about the Biden corruption. And so Biden can still win. Keep the pressure on, my friends, and keep pushing.
We now know beyond a shadow of doubt the laptop is in fact Hunter Biden's. The emails are in fact accurate. The big guy referenced in one of the emails is in fact Joe Biden. We know Hunter Biden had deals with communist China. Ukraine deals with this company Burisma that even the State Department said was a concern. And he was getting cash from the mayor of Moscow's wife. So all that, of course, this should come up.
Indeed. That's what we know. And there's still more that I think we're destined to find out in the days ahead. And all of this going into an election tonight where Biden shows up, he's not going to be able to hide. Here's a prediction. There will be a critical moment of muting. The debate moderator tonight in this debate will find a point at which Biden is on the ropes. You know, the Russian is cut and Rocky's circling and he's about to finish him off. And they'll freeze it. They'll mute President Trump and then talk over him as well. Guaranteed to happen tonight. At that moment where it's finally clear that Joe Biden can't evade anymore. But let's also talk about what he's trying to evade. A business associate of Hunter Biden's named Tony Bobulinski has put out a statement. I want to read this statement to you so you understand the full scope of what we're talking about here. This is all information, just the last 24 hours coming out. Looks really bad for the Biden camp. Don't whatever the media says is a joke. This is all a nightmare for them. It really is. He writes, "My name is Tony Bobulinski. The facts set forth below are true and accurate. They are not any form of domestic or foreign disinformation. Any suggestion to the contrary is false and offensive. I am the recipient of the email published 7 days ago by the New York Post, which showed a copy to Hunter Biden and Rob Walker. That email is genuine." So this is one of the guys involved in these communications. Here's what he writes. "This afternoon, I received a request from the Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Government Affairs and the Senate Committee on Finance requesting all documents relating to my business affairs with the Biden family, as well as various foreign entities and individuals. I have extensive relevant records and communications, and I intend to produce those items to both committees in the immediate future. I am the grandson of a 37-year Army intelligence officer, the son of a 20-plus year career naval officer, and the brother of a 28-year career naval flight officer. I myself served our country for 4 years and left the Navy as Lieutenant Bobulinski. I held a high-level security clearance and was an instructor and then CTO for Naval Nuclear Power Training Command. I take great pride in the time my family and I served this country. I am also not political. All right. He goes on. The 27 email is, in fact, a reference to Joe Biden. The other JB referenced in that email is Jim Biden, Joe's brother. Hunter Biden called his dad the big guy or my chairman and frequently referenced asking him for his sign-off or advice on various potential deals that we were discussing. I've seen Vice President Biden saying he never talked to Hunter about his business. I've seen firsthand that that's not true, because it wasn't just Hunter's business. They said they were putting the Biden family name and its legacy on the line. I realized the Chinese were not really focused on a healthy financial return on investment. They were looking at this as a political or influence investment. Once I realized that Hunter wanted to use the company as his personal piggy bank by just taking money out of it as soon as it came from the Chinese, I took steps to prevent that from happening. The Johnson report connected some dots in a way that shocked me. It made me realize the Bidens had gone behind my back and gotten paid millions of dollars by the Chinese, even though they told me they hadn't and wouldn't do that to their partners. I would ask the Biden family to address the American people and outline the facts so I can go back to being irrelevant, and so I am not in a position to have to answer those questions for them. I don't have a political axe to grind. I just saw behind the Biden curtain, and I grew concerned with what I saw. The Biden family aggressively leveraged the Biden family name to make millions of dollars from foreign entities, even though some were from communist-controlled China. God bless America. One more thing that Lieutenant Bobulinski writes here. The few campaign contributions I have made in my life were to Democrats. If the media and big tech companies had done their jobs over the past several weeks, I would be irrelevant in this story. Given my long-standing service and devotion to this country, I could no longer allow my family name to be associated or tied to Russian disinformation or implied lies and false narratives dominating the media right now. After leaving the military, I became an institutional investor, investing extensively around the world. What I'm outlining to you is fact. I know it is fact because I lived it. I am the CEO of Sinohawk Holdings, which was a partnership between the Chinese operating through CEFC and Chairman Yi and the Biden family. I was brought into the company to be the CEO by James Gillier and Hunter Biden. And the reference to the big guy in the much publicized May 13th email is, in fact, Joe Biden. Friends, his partners are talking. We've got all the proof. It's all real. Biden family is a crime family, and they think they're about to become the next first family of the United States. I recently got a crash course in home title theft. You better pray this crime never happens to you because it can ruin you financially. It goes after your most valuable asset, your home. Here's what happens. The legal titles to all of our homes are online, right? They're kept in servers in the cloud. A cyber thief hacks into them and then forges your signature on a quitclaim deed stating you sold your home to them. Then they take out loans against the equity in your home, leave you with the payments, maybe even something you don't find out about until you get a foreclosure notice. You won't know about this until those calls come in from collections. Insurance and common identity theft programs won't protect you. You need a virtual barrier around your home's title with Home Title Lock. Go to HomeTitleLock.com and enter your address to see if you're already a victim of this crime and don't even know it. You also can use promo code RADIO for 30 free days of protection. Again, go to HomeTitleLock.com, enter promo code RADIO for 30 free days of protection. Do it today. I mean, really give this a little thought. What's the response to all of this now? They were telling us last week, not true, not true. Then Russian disinformation. And now, what exactly is it? Oh, it's not important. If it's not important, why were we hearing so much about how it was Russian disinformation? Why even pay attention enough to it to make that claim? And of course it's important. They're insulting our intelligence, my friends. They are insulting your intelligence, my intelligence, every American. That's what the media is up to right now. They're putting Jill Biden out there saying that these are smears against my family. No, sorry. These are facts. The Democrats had a lot of different options in this campaign. They could have gone with a lot of people. I'll say this. Say what you will about, Pete Buttigieg or Bernie Sanders, but they weren't taking payoffs from the Chinese. I'm just, credit where it's due. The Democrats had a lot of options. Even Elizabeth Warren, for all of her flaws, not taking payoffs from foreign governments selling influence, doing other shady stuff, I'm sure, but Democrats brought this on themselves. They wanted to run a head fake, fraudulent candidate with big name recognition tied to Obama that they could pretend was a moderate, and they thought they could just ram him, just like they were going to ram Hillary Clinton down everybody's throats, and they wanted to ram John Kerry down everybody's throats. They thought they were going to pull it off. And look, they still might. Don't get me wrong. They've got so much of an institutional and platform advantage that even running a candidate as flawed as this guy with all the lies that they're having to tell, maybe it still works. Doesn't mean that we can't talk about how insane this is, how crazy these circumstances are we find ourselves in. First of all, here's Joe Biden saying, oh, it's all a smear. Sure it is. Play 18.
As a mother, I don't like to see my son attacked, and certainly I don't like to see my husband attacked. But to me, these are distractions. This election is not about Joe Biden or Jill Biden or Kamala or Doug. It is about the American people. The American people don't want to hear these smears against my family. The American people are struggling right now.
No, actually, I think they want to hear it. Sorry, Jill. I think they are curious now that it's fact, now that there's smoking gun evidence. I think that we've been told for 4 years that Donald Trump is a man of lacking in character, and his family has made all this money in shady ways, and, Trump Tower Moscow, and some guy whose name I can't even pronounce from one of the stands, and the Miss Universe pageant, and all this stuff we've heard about this. Now, all of a sudden, none of that counts for Joe Biden? This guy's been in public life his whole life, and somehow he's very, very, very rich. A lot of Democrats for whom that's the case. Well, looks like they may have to pay the piper now, so to speak. At least the Bidens might. The only justice is going to come, just so you understand this, at the ballot box. I want everyone to be very clear. Just as I said with Benghazi and Obama in the 2012 election, once Obama won that re-election, forget about justice for Benghazi and what happened there. Wasn't going to occur because they controlled the game. They control the refs. They control the players. Not gonna happen. Biden wins. All this goes away. In fact, they're going to go after people that expose this. They're going to go for payback. It's not going to be enough to merely push aside the obvious Biden family corruption. They're going to want to make examples of people. How dare you expose the Democrat candidate for who he and his family members really are? Remember, it's the brother, it's the son. Getting in on this for sure from a lot of different angles. And then you have the responses to all this from the media, which are honestly mind-blowing. It's hard to think of how anybody could do this, wake up, think their job is somehow guided by principles, facts, honesty, ethics, and then do what this media is doing. The president, I mentioned this yesterday, I didn't really get into the details. The president sat down with 60 Minutes and Leslie Stahl recently. All these boomer media establishments with these boomer correspondents who are just deeply unimpressive party hacks who have gotten, really fat and happy by being highly mediocre, but playing the institutional political game well enough to rise up the ranks at these places. They've just been around a long time. Time to retire, Leslie Stahl. We've had enough. She's not the only one. There's a ton of them. And whether you're talking about, Dan Rather or Larry King or these guys, they never want to give it up. It's never time to focus on something else in life. It's always me, more money, more attention, me. That's who's at the top of the mainstream media apparatus. Not the smartest, Not the best, not the most ethical. It's really the most narcissistic and the most selfish. That's unfortunately what these legacy outlets prize. I mean, that's what does well for you. You're advantaged by taking that approach. Anyway, here's Leslie Stahl, for whatever reason, gets access to the president. She sits down in an interview with him, and I just want you to hear her completely laughable, smack yourself in the face because you can't believe you're hearing something so stupid, defense of why media outlets like hers have no interest in the Hunter Biden laptop. Remember, this is the president. They taped the interview while it was being taped so that 60 Minutes can't get away with their usual editing crap. So this is the White House releasing the rough cut of this. Play it.
I think it's one of the biggest scandals I've ever seen, and you don't cover it. You want to talk about?
Well, because it can't be verified.
You want to talk about insignificant things?
I'm telling you.
Of course it can be verified. Excuse me. They found the laptop. Leslie.
It can't be verified.
What can't be verified?
The laptop.
Why do you say that?
Because
even the family hasn't. The family on the laptop. He's gone into hiding. For 5 days, he's gone into hiding.
He's preparing for your debate.
Oh, it's taken him 5 days to prepare? I doubt it. Okay,
All
go
right,
ahead.
all right. So
He's preparing for the debate. That's not even the funniest thing here. It can't be verified. Here's supposed to be a famous and dogged journalist. Gets to the truth, gets the facts, gets the answers. And her response to why they won't even touch this enormously consequential story at the absolute peak of a presidential election cycle is it can't be verified. This would be like if you sat down with the FBI and you had something for them. They're like, oh, this needs to be investigated. Exactly. Isn't that what you do here? Isn't this the Federal Bureau of Investigation? Otherwise, what would you say you do here? Leslie Stahl, journalist, 60 Minutes, CBS, lots of money going into this. They can't find a way. First of all, it's already verified to anybody who's not an idiot. But if they want to play this verification game, we can't. It would be like she said, whoa, sorry, Mr. President. What you're asking for is journalism, and that's not what we do here. It's pretty much what she's telling him. Can't be verified. No, first of all, it is verified. And second of all, if that was really a position they could take, then they should be the ones working to verify whether this is real or not. But remember, CBS is the same news outlet that, at the absolute peak of a previous presidential cycle, put forward National Guard documents that use Microsoft Word font that didn't exist from the year of the supposed National Guard document involving George W. Bush. So, they know they're fake news and then some. They know how to play this game. They know what to do. It's just incredible to watch this play out. They're so terrified. They're such fraudulent cowards. The media, the Democrat Party, they're all, let's talk more about healthcare. Let's talk about all these other. No, I'm sorry. They put the president of the United States through a 3-year-long special counsel investigation and then impeachment based on nothing. They impeached Trump for bringing up answers about Hunter Biden corruption with the president of Ukraine. And it turns out that that's a completely legitimate inquiry because there is corruption involving Hunter Biden in Ukraine. So I'm sorry, is there some special, I was saying this back when we were looking at this call and whether it was legitimate or not. Is Joe Biden, because he was formerly the vice president, are his family members allowed to break the law? Is there some special get out of jail free card? Well, we find out, yes, it's called being a Democrat. It's just amazing as we see how obvious all of this is. They're not even being clever with the fraud that they're perpetrating right now. They're not even impressive with the propaganda. I mean, what you're seeing here could be changing the course of history for this country. And the media pretends that the smoking gun emails of the Biden family and the Biden family's corruption, which now seems to go all the way up to Joe Biden himself, are no big deal But these are the same journos who cheered an FBI investigation, including FISA warrants, of the Trump campaign based solely on lies paid for by the DNC. Not only did the media run with the stories that were all lies, all just fabrications and nonsense, about how Carter Page and George Papadopoulos were Russian agents, part of a conspiracy to steal the election. Not only did the media run with that in its, as though it were gospel, the FBI, Obama's FBI, Obama's DOJ, used that stuff as the basis for an actual criminal investigation and used FISA warrants and used national security letters and used the most intrusive tools of the federal apparatus to spy on people. And now we're going to forget all of that. We're going to pretend that they're not playing the game as dirty as they possibly can. I don't think so. It's amazing, friends. Oh, now what's the latest? Oh, but Trump has a bank account in China. I'm hearing this one. This is what you're being told now. Oh my gosh, but there's a bank account. I mean, okay, what's in the bank account? How much money? They seem to think that normal intelligent people can't figure out that if you're worth $1 billion and you got a bank account somewhere worth $100,000, nobody cares. Doesn't mean anything. It's like finding a $20 bill in your back pocket of pants you haven't worn in a while. Oh, he's got a foreign bank account. Well, how much is in this bank account? What were they doing with this bank? But anything to get us talking about something else, something other than this issue. And it's just so fitting, too, because, Trump is the one who's been willing to show that China is a problem for the United States. Our elites, and it goes all the way across politics, really bipartisan consensus, the think tanks in D.C., they've done nothing but not just apologize. They've done apologias for China. They'll defend Chinese trade practices and policies because, they're just trying to catch up. The wealthier they get, the more liberal they'll get. Don't worry. And we realize, are you getting wealthier too? Democrat and Republican lobbyists and think tankers and politicians, are you getting wealthier while China gets wealthier? Turns out, yeah. It looks like that is the answer. But don't worry, Obama showed up just in time to make jokes about how there's a Trump Chinese bank account. Play 20.
We know that he continues to do business with China because he's got a secret Chinese bank account. How is that possible? How is that possible? A secret Chinese bank account. Listen, can you imagine if I had a secret Chinese bank account when I was running for re-election? You think Fox News might have been a little concerned about that? They would have called me Beijing Barry.
Yes, this bank account is so secret that it paid $188,000 in taxes in China from 2013 to 2015. What do we really think is in here? Citing an analysis of the president's tax records. So it's in his tax records. So in what way exactly is the bank account secret? I'm just wondering. Right. This is a total smokescreen. Smokescreen. Desperate smokescreen from the libs. Trump's tax record showed investments of at least, here, you ready for this? $192,000 in 5 companies that pursued business interests in China, according to the New York Times. Oh my gosh, $190,000? Does anyone think that Trump cares about $190,000 in business deals? Really? That's a big deal? That guy's worth billions. It's crazy. I want to share this one with you. It was a fun one yesterday. The Washington Examiner's Susan Ferrecchio
versus Brian Stelter, who's like running around trying to put out all the fires for the media. He's running around. He's very, very upset. How dare you say that we are not very honest?
Play clip 1.
The bottom line is it deserves scrutiny by all media outlets. And if they pick and choose this and decide it's not worth their time, I think that's showing real bias. I think everybody deserves to look at the Mueller stuff, and everyone should look at this and give Biden the scrutiny that he's not running for president of the Glee Club. He's running for president of the United States. And this is serious. This is not last year's news. It's whether or not his son was coordinating to get him to talk to these Ukraine oligarchs, and he was benefiting from it. I mean, it's really dirty.
Okay,
and
Brian,
it needs to be looked at.
Forgive me, Brian Stelter, then I want to move on to the Google, which is a related story. Brian.
I said it was last season. You're saying it's new. I think bottom line is we don't know what is real and what is fake in these emails, if there is anything real in them.
Yeah, but that doesn't stop any from reporting the Mueller and the dossier and all that stuff.
You're bitter. I understand that you have a lot of resentment about it.
Now we have ethics. Okay, now we have ethics.
Don't you dare act like newsrooms didn't have ethics in 2017 and 2018.
Well, I know they did. Well, you can don't dare me all you want, Brian. I've been doing this for 30 years. So say whatever you want. It's my view. And I have a right to say it. I was invited on the...
Your view is that the news media was unethical with Mueller?
Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
She's like, actually, I'm going to dare, little man. Go eat a donut. I've had enough of you. I love it. It was great. Susan Ferrecchio. Never seen her work before. Big fan now. That was great.
How dare you say the media is not honest enough? How dare...
I don't know. Whatever Jeff Zucker's paying him, it's not enough. I mean, to debase yourself like this on TV or on radio or wherever this was, I think it was a TV show, for the amusement of your ignorant and brainwashed lib audience so they don't have to be confronted with facts they don't like. It's a tough job.
But Brian Stelter's there is ready to do it for everybody. Excuse me, Zucker, could I have a pat on the head, please? I would like a pat on the head.